Okay. I'm going to ask you to stand up. And now turn to the person to your right or left, whoever is closer to you, and say, I'm so glad I made it to here. Good. Now we can all sit down. Okay. I didn't come to the Plunet Summit that happened here in Berlin in 19, but I was supposed to present at the following summit on the 20. It didn't happen. I was about to talk about efficiency. So when Sophia said, do you want to take over where you left it? I said, yeah, why not? Yeah, let's talk about efficiency. And then I thought, well, we've been very efficient before the pandemic. When we implemented Plunet, we were able to handle over almost 20% more production than before with the same people. So that's good for you guys to know. And then we moved a lot, as most of you did, we moved to remote work. At the beginning, I thought, well, we are very efficient. We kept delivering projects as usual. It didn't really impact our clients. But then I realized that we were no longer that efficient when it came to training new people that we hired after or during the pandemic. And I always been crazy about efficiency. I didn't know why this was happening. So I rephrased or reorganized my presentation to focus on a few things that we're going to talk today. Wouldn't you love to clone your best project manager? I love to. It's not legal yet, but we don't really want to do that either, right? Because I think that human beings, we are unique. And that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. So we're going to see today. Today we're going to see why you need to challenge your team, how we can do that with the help of Plunet, and then we're going to see how we can enjoy the benefits. So let's move back to the Industrial Revolution. England, 1780. The good thing was to produce the same theme all over again. We might find that it is really boring, but for the people out there, moving from the countryside to the cities was a real improvement in their life. They have a steady amount of work, a salary, fixed salary. They were no longer working under the rain or under the sun. It was a good improvement. And then we move into the 20th century. We are all very happy because we have ISO certifications, or if you are more into the Asian approach like Toyota, you have very good approaches to quality, like the Andon core was implemented by Toyota. Basically, it's anyone in the chain, production chain, can pull a core if there is a mistake. The theory is that if you catch a mistake or error at the very beginning of the chain, it's easier and less costly than to repair that afterward, right? And if we move to the 21st century around, we have all these approaches to quality or to processes, Agile, Scrum, Lean, right? It all came initially from the software development industries or companies, but it's gradually being implemented at services company as well. But if we look ahead, and now you've probably heard about this VUCA environment, volatile, uncertain, ambiguity. It's all about thinking. This is a report from the Future of Jobs report in 2020 from the World Economic Forum. You have analytical thinking, you have learning, complex project solving, critical thinking. It's all about thinking. And this is the main difference between the manpower that we saw in the Industrial Revolution and what we live now. We work with brain power. And that's important, because what you need to do to get the best out of your people, you really need to challenge them. And how do you do that? You have to think that a brain really needs to get challenged every day. You cannot have your people that you hire them for their brain, maybe because they are nice as well, but basically for their brain, you don't want to put the smart people doing repetitive tasks all day long. They will get bored, and they will leave, probably. So it's something that we really, really need to take into account. And how do we frame that within our companies? I like to tell you something that happened to me like a month ago. I needed to get a drill because I wanted to hang up a frame at my place. So I went to the local shop, and the guy said, well, we have all these drills here, but why do you need a drill? And I said, well, I need to hang a frame, right? And the guy just gave me this. Do you know what these are? These are hangers for frames. You can get them by €4 at Amazon, and they will sustain your frame of 2 kilos. You only need a hammer. So, great, you did one takeaway from today. Good, I did. So please remember that we are hired to do a job. The job to be done was called by Clayton Christensen in this book that I recommend, but it's not in this version. It's the Innovator's Dilemma, very good book. Basically, a client comes to us because they have a problem. So we need to provide them with a solution. So it's all about knowledge. Remember that the knowledge is the biggest asset in your company. And you have a problem, I have a problem, if the knowledge is in someone's head. First thing, there are no backups for heads. Remember, there are backups for systems. We talked about security this morning. I'm sure you have everything in place. But what happens if information is in someone's head? You don't have a backup for that, okay? And also, what I wanted to bring your attention to is that within your team, I'm sure that you have a lot of people that seems to have more hours in a day than the rest of us. Somehow. So why is this happening? What I recommend that you actually benchmark your people. We mentioned that it was illegal to clone PMs, right? But you can see what they are doing. You can compare their capacity. Yes, I know that not all projects are the same, but over a long period of time, if the accounts are more or less equally balanced, you will see that there are big differences. And during the pandemic, I thought, well, you know, we are doing the same training to everybody. Why there are still differences? And I couldn't find out. So we took some of the project managers and physically sit a day long to see how they were doing this. Because sometimes it's not only the knowledge, sometimes it's just how you apply that knowledge. How do you look for that information? Some people spent a lot of minutes, and for hours and hours, days, and they spend minutes looking for information. So take a look to your information system as well and see how people are using it. It's easy to use. Think about it. So remember, what you want to do with your brain power, the brain power in your company is to beat boredom. If you have smart people doing silly things, repetitive tasks, they will get bored. and they will stop thinking, and you want them to think, and to elaborate, and to grow, and develop, right? So we're gonna go into our hero, which is Paul Lauter, because when we have all these different issues around our company, not finding information, spending time during repetitive tasks, we can call our hero, right? I'm here today to learn a little bit more about this, because I'm gonna go through some of the things that we identified in our companies that people were doing slightly different. But I'm be glad to know what you're doing in your company, that you realize not everybody was doing. So not everybody was as efficient as they should be. And I know that Plunet is really powerful, have a lot of features, but we need to use them consistently. So some of the things that I see, and also in some of our clients that are using Plunet, they don't use the workflow templates. The other day I was training a PM on an account that I usually handle, and I told her, well, I use this template, and this workflow template, because I'm very lazy, you know? And I said that to some people yesterday, so they will laugh again, probably. Fortunately, she said, I don't think you are lazy. I think you are a hard worker. Oh, good. I have some reputation still in the company. I say, okay, yes, it's right. I'm not lazy. I don't think I'm lazy, but I hate doing the same thing twice. I see some people nodding. I hope it's not all from Plunet. So see how your people are doing some of these things. Are they really transferring files automatically from A to B? Are query logs that you use for a client stored in the common folder that get downloaded into your translator's connection? Are you still copying and pasting information? Hands up if you are not. Well, maybe not you, because most of you are owners or top managers, so you don't do that anymore. But work instructions, I still see people attaching documents. I want to die when I see that. So, closing projects. I realized that one of the project managers wasn't using the change status automatically because she wanted to double check the PO. What? Well, a lot of time lost. A more low added value task, like matching resources, the criteria. I go mad when I see that not many resources are under this list, preferred resource for customer. It's so easy to use, and when I like to handle projects from time to time because so I can see how things are being done, and sometimes I have to do it anyway because someone is sick suddenly or whatever. And then I don't know the resources anymore in the company, so I really need to find out who did the previous job. And maybe they've been working in the account for 1 year and they are not marked as preferred resource. I want to die, so I die several times a day. So, and the invoices, like look into your company. Are your translators uploading the invoices? I have some clients even that they don't use that feature, which is saved as one administrative position in my company, the handling of invoices. So take a look at all that. And also it's not only sometimes about automation. It's like a workflow. We think automation, we think all these things that can be done in the background. Sometimes it's so simple. Maybe I'm saying things that you all know here, so apologies for that. I love this dialogue. I mean, you can do 3 clicks in one. Are you all familiar with this? Some people are knocking. Good. Well, you are the top automation guy, so all this, and there are so many. Say, I want to know more. I want to know more, and I want my people to. Maybe you can have one of those webinars that you're talking about. Could be good to be held on these things that are there and that are not used by everyone, because it's not part of the formal training that you give to your people. Remember, it's the differences that we are looking for between the different PMs. And some of the benefits that we saw, obviously, mainly time. We saw this difference, we decreased the difference of output between project managers, and we increased the time overall that we had in production with less stress and less boredom. So what do you do with that extra time, right? I give you some extra time now in your company. So what do you do with that? This is when the fun starts. This is when you start seeing the benefit, the effects. You start building the service with the company. You have more time to talk to them. You have more time to think. Why are we doing this all the time like this? Maybe we can do something better. Maybe we can learn a little bit more about our client in that time. Because what you want to do is to align the people with the company. Because obviously, when you give more control to the people to think, you want them to think in alignment with the company. I'll be there just very, very strong on communicate, communicate, and communicate. Share with your people where are you heading. Share with your people the trends in the industry. We as managers, we usually have a helicopter view of what's happening if you are in conferences like this one. And then it's difficult that we transfer that to the people. So be very communicative with your people. So whatever time they can spend to thinking, they know that you are initiating new opportunities, that you are open to new services. So if you are able to align your company aims with that time that they want to spend thinking, you will gain a lot, promise. So remember, if you want to unleash your people's potential, start by taking out the boring stuff, low added value tasks from your people.